There's an interesting strategy that I want you to consider for your upcoming virtual onsite with Amazon. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't say this was one of my favorites while I was coaching candidates for these jobs interviews, and that is specifically to take the bar raiser as the most serious interviewer in the process. And it's been told to me recently by someone applying for a non-technical role, to be clear here, that this is a strategy that they employed, and they were quite successful in passing that on-site interview. And there's a couple of other interesting takeaways that I wanted to share with you here. Namely, they went as far as to save the best stories to use with the bar raiser. And from what I understood, it was actually the main discussion that they had. The deciding factor was actually the bar raiser, and all other discussions throughout the loop were only surface level discussions. So it's only with the bar raiser that they went really deep into the conversation. Basically, they impressed the bar raiser, and the bar raiser got them in, right? Or at least the outcome of the on-site of the virtual on-site was a successful one. The outcome of the overall process is a more complicated story, but still, the interview was a very successful one, and I believe it's worthwhile sharing with you as a strategy, so you prepare for the bar raiser. Now, a couple of other things you want to keep in mind here. This was for a non-technical role, for a partner development lead role, and the candidate actually had prepared 53 stories in total, right? So 53 stories in total. It's not unheard of, but of course, those are many stories, to be honest with you. Some shallow, but at least 28 that went super deep. So in my opinion, the candidate actually also had a little bit of leverage here. Like, if you have 28 high quality stories, to me, you are very likely to be able to save some of those stories with the bar raiser specifically if you wanted to, but still 28 high quality from 53 in total, it's something that I really want you to consider as in terms of numbers of stories. Is when you force yourself to come up with more stories, you realize quickly which ones are of biggest value as you come back to them in your head again and again. So notice here, the approach that they used. They basically had a very strong foundation. So I can guarantee you that they didn't start, superficially, like, I'm going to get to the bar raiser. No, they started preparing for a behavioral interview. So he started early in the process. He invested a lot of time, but the strategy during the Amazon onsite was towards the bar raiser. And actually, I've been previously told, even by an Amazon recruiter, that I'm not right about how the hiring manager bar raisers decide there. So I've been told, while a few of your assumptions are not entirely true, especially surrounding bar raiser hiring managers being the ultimatum. So it's more complicated there as to whom decides, how do they decide. But still, I find that working towards the bar raiser in this scenario was a very efficient strategy, and even saving up stories, so long as you have them, is something you might as well consider. Now, the other thing, just quickly here, he also went as far as to use an HD webcam, not a normal webcam, to have a better quality of the picture, and to maybe have a wider lens to fit more in the frame and to be able to gesticulate with the hands. So this is also something you might want to consider using for your own interview. But all in all, you can see this is a very advanced technique to interview with these things. He went as far, of course, to study, research the personal background to understand the personal culture of that person. And he also took a close look at which questions to ask and how that dynamic of behavioral interviewing went in general. So hopefully this gave you some interesting pointers, and thank you very much for watching.